Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 274 of the show. And, of course, I'm your host, Sean Garmer. And, well, we are the official video game podcast at VG2M.com and a partnership with Last Word on Live, or Last Word on Gaming, sorry. And, well, I'm not going to talk about this too much here, but that network I said we were part of last week, something bad happened and it kind of just dissolved in a week. So we are,
what did you do, Sean?
I didn't do anything.
I saw like the match myself.
Yeah, somebody else did something and it started a whole very thing I won't get into here because then we're going to get into a bunch of topics that I don't feel like is necessary for the show. But safe to say it just didn't go well. People didn't decide to do anything about it and then decided to just end the whole thing to avoid causing any controversy. So it's still there, but it doesn't carry the kind of funny name and doesn't really have the cachet that it had. It's probably for the best because I think
someone take a stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict. What?
No, it has to do with a diversity issue that was.
There was a lot behind the scenes. I was there as well.
It was a lot. Okay, so like
it was a bunch of issues.
The thing was it was bad is because I was gonna include that commercial in our episode because our first episode was airing like the day after they aired the commercial. And then the commercial was not diverse enough. Someone pointed that out on Twitter.
I see.
The people that were behind the Twitter account that was also the main person that was rallying everybody in the Discord did not react well because, of course, you're going to be more happy about, man, you just put all this effort into doing this great commercial and then somebody has to point out a negative about it, which you are not trying to do. What the problem is you got at that point, well, when it started, it wasn't that big, but at that point it had gotten to like 300 different streamers, content creators, and whatever. And you're trying to get like 10 people in a room to do a commercial. You got to just do with whoever's there at the time. And look, to be honest, he also didn't do it the smart way. You should have always had a committee behind you to be able to think things through.
Right, vet things.
And say, hey, look, you need to kind of make sure that this is the first one. You got to do it right. And when you're trying to just do something with E3 around the corner and you're trying to make this almost like a business thing that you're doing, it's really hard to do everything right. You know, when it's like one person and a few other people trying to give you advice and, you know.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you don't learn from the mistake. You kind of let it eat you away and then you don't respond and people started leaving and it was causing a big ruckus. And I think they just decided, well, let's just destroy it and hope it all goes away, and then this will kind of be just a thing that people just join on their own, which is cool because they've gotten still some cool people. Megan Sullivan they used to be part of IGN that does history and games is on there. She read my review that I wrote for Keith on Outer Haven, my first review, Aerial Knight's Never Yield, which is I'll talk about in a little bit. She thought it was great, so it was cool to have somebody that I always enjoyed watching on IGN be able to read your stuff and tell you that it looked good. So anyway, I didn't mean to get into that whole entire thing.
Oh, no.
It's probably good to get it out of the way because there will be people that ask. So it's good to have it there.
Yeah, because we had made it a big part of our branding. When we had Matt on, we mentioned it, I don't know how many times in the show, which didn't help either. So, and then he was one of the ones that left, which is understandable, you know, with who his co-hosts are. So I should note here, I'm very sorry we got to talking and I did not introduce everybody. So of course, always here with me is Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And our fine editor extraordinaire and the always awesome Jens Dietrich.
Hello.
Also
thanks for having me, Sean.
Co-host of Chapter Select on the network as well. Yes. And joining us here, Obi-Wan Jacoby, as you go by on Twitch, right?
Yep. Howdy. Yeah, you nailed it. Most people tend to forget the L for some reason. It just disappears, I guess, in the V.
I try my best.
You did good. You did good.
What is your Twitter handle on the Twitter?
It's Obi-Wan Jacoby as well. It's all lowercase, but yeah, oh no, that's got the caps where it needs to be. Obi-Wan Jacoby, look for the weirdo with a leaf in his mouth, and you're there.
There you go. The unabashed lover of Rage 2, apparently.
Absolutely. I was wearing that yesterday. I just would have worn it today, but instead I figured this shirt would be a little bit better for the
yes,
it would make what we're going to talk about today.
So we know if you've been paying attention to the show the last couple of weeks, we are getting ready for E3. E3 is really close to happening, and we talked about Nintendo. We talked about what if Sony did something. We still don't. Yeah, probably not that Sony's going to do anything, but we did it. We talked about it anyway. This week is Xbox, and we talked about Starfield last week. There's a little bit of a blow to the Starfield news that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Isn't in it?
What?
Tom Cruise isn't in it?
Well, if you're still, if anybody believes that, then go for it. But so, yeah, well, we're going to be talking about what Xbox is going to do for E3. Anything that we want to see, what we expect could happen. So that's going to be our big main topic, and we'll have other news to go on along the way. But before we get started here, because I did this with Matt, and I want to make sure that you get your time as well, man. Anything you want to promote or just talk about what you do for the content creating streaming community.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm a very new streamer. Just started last couple months. I'm just trying to build something, just the usual setup. Want to build a good community. Want to see what kind of opportunities comes up. Like this podcast right here is a great opportunity that came from starting this content creation. Just love to interact with people about games, talk about them, play them, just see what kind of cool stuff comes from people enjoying this kind of thing together, and just nerding out about it is kind of what I've been wanting to do for a few years now. Decided to pull the trigger a couple months ago. And then the Obi-Wan Jacoby channels where I've started doing that on Twitch.
Yeah, so if you're a person that likes to watch things on Twitch, go give Obi-Wan Jacoby a follow, and then you'll know whenever he posts, whenever he's doing a stream. So, like, one thing I like to do with whenever we have guests is, like, get to know a little bit about where you come from. Like, what are your, favorite genres, favorite games that you...
So probably I really enjoy RPGs of any kind, whether they're JRPGs, action ones. I'm a big fan, of course, shooters. I think I really like shooters because they're kind of the opposite of the RPGs. They're really good bite-sized campaigns, usually like 5-6 hours. So it's kind of a good refresher. So say like Call of Duties, your Wolfensteins, your Battlefields. They have those nice tight campaigns compared to, say, Persona 5, which is the Royal one's 130 hours for a normal playthrough. It just kind of is a good way to break up.
I agree. It's a good
monolith.
palate cleanser usually.
Absolutely, yeah. And then sometimes I like those weird little ones like I put on the dock playing Rain on Your Parade right now on Xbox, and that is a weird
I've heard good things. Good things.
Very odd.
On the parade.
Very odd and very unique, and I love that kind of thing too.
Yeah, I like the indie stuff too, which is what maybe you want to check out the game that I reviewed as well. Just that's a big thing for me. We're all RPG fans of some sort here. These two are huge Persona players, so they definitely will fill you on that. And I mean, so like, did you always like games as a kid, or did you have a sibling that got you into games? Like, how did that?
It was a little bit of both of that. I actually was raised in a house with parents that didn't like video games, but they begrudgingly let us play them. Yeah. We actually had a little Super Nintendo, so played a lot of that. Super Mario Bros. The Zelda Link to the Past, one of the best games ever made. Yeah. And then just grew up over the years. I think our next system was the N64 after that. We got that bundle with Donkey Kong 64. And just my brothers play games. And I kind of just obsessed over it. totally all in and just started buying everything, playing everything I could, and just kind of exploded from there. I get my hands pretty much on anything I can and see where it takes me.
Hey, I grew up like that too. My mom and dad were not game players. My mom knew nothing about it other than the fact that like everything was, it didn't matter what system it was the Nintendo to her. It was just everything was the Nintendo. So I mean, and my dad would just buy them because he knew like that's what I liked, and he was just like, here, I'll just give him this thing, it'll entertain him, whatever, and he didn't know that was going to become one of my big passions in life, but it helped my brother. Liked it a lot too, so he kind of was like, well, I guess I got another one like this, what am I gonna do? So I mean, like, did you grow up like reading any magazines, anything that like you can remember from those days?
Yeah, I didn't do much of the websites until probably at least my late teens. I don't know. I didn't browse too much, but I did read a lot of Game Informers. I was just that classic kid that would go into the game store, pick those up, and just pour them. I had a stack as tall as I was at one point of tons of them before I started clearing house. Just I would look at all those screenshots and just drool over. I think one of the first ones was. Oh yeah, it was Colonial Marines, unfortunately. That was one of the early ones. It was such a pretty cover. The screenshots look gorgeous, and then unfortunately the game not so much.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, there's older than that. Gears 2. That's just the first one I remember. Gears 2. I remember reading over that and losing it because they had the beautiful black, white, and red. From the initial trailer where it had that kind of abstract coloring, they did that for the cover art, and I just sat there and stared at that for hours on end and just pour over the articles and see what they had for that game before it came out.
I mean, that was the best part. Like I always had a Nintendo Power growing up, so like being able to read those and then just it gets you hyped for that next Nintendo thing. Like we would take them to school, and I remember that's why everybody got all crazy about Pokemon. And I had my poor grandparents freaking rushing to Toys R Us to buy the last 2 editions of Red and Blue that were available. And she was like, surprised me. I forgot. I think it was around my birthday. She's like, here you go. And I was like, man, I think my friend had it. And I asked my dad, I was like, can I have a subscription to Nintendo Power? And he's like, God, what are you doing? What are you getting me into here? And I made him subscribe to it. And for like years after that, I wanted to be able to know everything that was coming out. But what was cool was back then too, because they had like little strategy guides inside. So like I remember playing Golden Sun, and it told you how to beat the whole entire game just inside a Nintendo Power, which was cool because you didn't have to buy a strategy guide.
Jeez, that'd be nice.
Yeah, of course. At least they didn't get as bad as Final Fantasy 9. You go buy a strategy guide, and then half it's online, and then it goes away, and you can't use it at all.
Or you get like me. I remember got a guide for Black Ops 3 sitting somewhere where they took like half the collectibles and just copied and pasted how to find them, so half of them don't even work. What editor let that through?
They must have been crunching for time, just like you have to get it out by a certain date. So
that's very true. That's very true. That's very true.
So, man, you were saying, off air that you kind of lean towards Xbox, but you've been playing everything.
Yeah, I play. I cancel Switch, play the big titles there. I play Xbox. Just most of my friends are on there, and that's where I have just more of the social element. And then I was lucky enough to actually get a PS5, so I've been hopping on that to play just those exclusive things like Returnal. Going to play Ratchet when that comes out. Persona Royal. I haven't played Persona 5 Royal yet. I played the original, but not Royal yet. Yeah. Just been kind of scared to hop back into that.
That'll consume your life.
I'll fall head over heels back into that, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm pretty agnostic. They're all great systems in their own way, but Xbox mostly due to the social stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so see, we picked the perfect person for the main topic today to have an Xbox guy on here. So let's get to it, guys. Speaking of Xbox, the thought was after the big reveal that the Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC. Now it comes out I guess you could say bad news, or the news that nobody wanted to hear, which was Starfield's not coming this year and may not even come next year, maybe 2023. We still don't really know what Starfield is. Everybody wants to assume that it's Fallout or Elder Scrolls in space, but we don't really know.
It's a dancing game.
Rhythm, baby.
Like, how do you feel? How do you feel, Obi-Wan? You feel like that it's like kind of bums you out a little bit about E3, that it wasn't going to be this big reveal of, oh yeah, not just Halo's coming out this year, but Starfield? Or are you kind of okay with them taking their time?
Well, it's a little bit of both. Nobody ever's happy to hear the shiny new toy is farther away. It sucks blatantly if we've got to wait for it, but it's worth it. The devs get more time to make it. They're going to make a better product. They're not going to kill themselves over making said product. It gives us more time to play the other. I'm sure there's going to be tons of other games we're going to play. It sucks, but it's absolutely understandable. And I think part of it is this is going to be the first Bethesda game under Microsoft, and like Halo, they want it to just hit as hard as possible, and they want it to be as shiny and running as well as they can, and say this is Xbox.
So what you're saying is different quality control standards.
Exactly, yes. So we don't get Skyrim on PS3, for example, where it just crashes.
Or Fallout 3 on PS3.
Exactly.
I'm glad they're taking more time. They need to take as much time as they possibly can to just make it as good as they can, because they need to earn a lot of trust back.
Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, just look at Halo Infinite.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. I think they learned that from Halo, from Cyberpunk. Like, you don't want to release something just to put it out. I mean, also COVID is a thing, and that happened, and there's going to be delays for that. I'm not too worried about it. Like, I think if the idea is supposedly that according to Jason Schreier that we are going to get a release date. He's saying late 2022. They're going to give you the exact date. Of course, that doesn't really matter because they'll just move stuff around again. That's how most of these things go. They get announced way in the future, and then by then they're like, this happened, we got to delay it again. So, I'm not too worried about that per se, but I do hope that we get to see what it is. At least show us what is Starfield. We know what it is by the time.
I mean, we can make some assumptions. It's going to be probably a first-person game in space.
Right, but it's like, will you have, changed a little bit about what you do? I know it's a
like, what if there's a spaceflight element to it? Put me on a ship. Have half the game be Wing Commander Privateer. That'd be a pleasant surprise. You walk around the stations, or you're in your ship flying around.
It worked for Star Citizen.
Yeah, exactly. Make Star Citizen, but with a balance more on the, RPG, like 70-30.
And have RPG it actually come out one day.
Yeah. That'd be bad. I could see them going in some new directions, especially if are they changing their engine? Is that happening?
I think that's the idea, right? That they were going to be able to combine with Microsoft and be able to improve that.
I think the rumor wasn't it they were possibly working with Halo's devs with their engine to kind of. Yeah, I thought they were kind of trying to integrate that.
That's promising.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, according to Schreier, again, it wasn't. They were still working on Fallout 76 up until 2019. Mm-hmm. And when it was being announced, the team was really small. So it wasn't really until last year, and then we know what happened last year.
Yeah, and that's the usual case of we're announcing games way too early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You almost want a mulligan on that and unannounce something. Like, I'm sure
exactly.
Platinum wants to unannounce, or they've been trying to unannounce Bayonetta 3 a bunch of times.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting if Nintendo shows that off at all.
Speaking of that sort of thing, what do you guys think of the rumors that we're going to see Elden Ring at this Xbox show?
It could be. It's one of those. I there's so much Elden Ring stuff floating around, you don't know what's real.
That's true.
Yeah.
It could easily be there. It could also very easily just not. They have been so tight-lipped about it since that initial trailer. Anything's possible.
Especially after that leak.
Yeah, the leak is brutal.
That leak was terrible.
Like, do they want to even? I mean, do they want to try to get something out there to be like, okay, this is what it really is?
Well, it reminded me of the first. Do you remember the first Bloodborne trailer? It was the level of polish from that to actual game. If that happens with Elden Ring, I'm not really worried. But yeah, the leak definitely seemed like an early build kind of thing. So it did not show it off in a favorable light.
It's a dev look at something. It's not going to look as good as it will when you actually see what what it looks like. So, but the
internet's gonna internet.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna get angry about like, oh, this is what it looks like. Like, come on now.
Not everyone's. They're not going to please everybody, no matter what they do. Like, you just can't. Somebody's going to be mad because they want to be mad. But yeah, I also wonder if all this tight-lippedness from them is because I wonder if they're trying to go for that old Bethesda style, and they just want to be like, the next reveal is, here's the game, here's the gameplay, it's out in 4 months. Like, I wonder if they're going for that sort of just shock of pow instead of sitting there leaking over years and it continue out of hand. Just have it and have it out.
That would be rad.
That'd be beautiful.
I assume by the old Bethesda feel you mean getting Andrew WK on stage again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's what you need.
He's the one who sold Rage 2 to you, huh?
I mean, it's not the best game ever, but I had fun. It was a dumb B action movie, and that's all I wanted.
It was missing John Goodman, so no dice.
Oh yeah, I forgot they got John Goodman at the start of the first one.
Yep,
that was weird. I don't know how that came to be. Wow.
So, speaking of, that helps a lot because we're going into a game maybe wasn't like the greatest game ever, but it has this extreme cult following in Time Splitters. Deep Silver's had the rights along with Embracer Group, and people have been asking for it. People have been like, man, when are we ever going to see another Time Splitters? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it gets announced that 2 of the original company's 4 founders and key overs behind the games at Free Radical are actually trying to bring the Time Splitters IP back. And man, I enjoyed those games a lot when they were, in the ether out there. This is definitely going to have to be, I think, a change in how they play, because if they play the way that they did back then, I don't know how well that's going to translate.
Those games were bad back then. They're worse now.
I don't come on.
They aren't. I mean, they aren't like technically bad, but they're just like bereft of like imagination.
That's
and just, like,
crazy considering the amount of bonkers imaginative stuff in those games.
I mean, like the plot is like you're chasing a monkey around.
Yeah, don't. Not every game needs to hinge on a narrative.
I mean, I just mean like the gameplay is just like standard FPS game from 2005 or
standard FPS game.
Well, but yeah, that exactly. That was the thing back then.
The only people interested in this are people like over 30 who remember Time Splitters.
Oh, sure, nostalgia factor, absolutely.
And if they change, if they change the game too much into like actually something modern, it's going to just piss people off.
If you think about how those studios have not been doing that well lately, and how their attempts at new franchises like Homefront really haven't been that successful, you can understand going back to the well-popular property that's going to play to people's nostalgia.
You mean like Unreal Tournament, when they tried to bring that back a few years ago and it bombed horribly?
I didn't even notice that happened. That passed me right by.
Yeah, it's 2017 when Epic brought it back.
Wow.
And yeah, that's exactly my point.
I remember when there was an Unreal Tournament for Xbox that was basically on the Gears, on the Unreal Engine
Unreal
3.
Championship. Yeah.
That's what that was. Okay.
But I mean, that was before that. But
to be fair, when our Unreal Tournament came back, they also got the big hit called Fortnite, and then they just forgot about everything else in Epic existing and going, okay, here we go. We're just going to latch ourselves to this, and hey, it worked out for them right now. So I mean,
why wouldn't you? pump all of your budget into that. That's why, I mean, that game is insane in terms of polish. Absolutely insane.
Oh no, it definitely is.
I just don't think like an FPS of that nature that will work in today's market.
We'll have to see what they do. I mean, I've never played Time Splitters. You said somebody over 30. I'm 28, just missed Time Splitters. I'm just past it. Yeah. But you could, I mean, Doom's a good example of taking something old and polishing up. I'm not saying this new studio is to the level of id, don't get me wrong. But this story has happened where somebody takes an old property, modernizes it to great success commercially and review-wise. So it's not impossible. Deep Silver tends to be in the middle ground of quality games. They do pretty good. Yeah. So it's not impossible, but
I could see each approach working. I mean, Doom is a pretty drastic modernization of the old formula. It plays Doom 2016 is a very different game than Doom.
Yeah.
So you could go that route, but you could also go, like I just played through Destroy All Humans again on the PlayStation 5. And, it feels like an old game, but it's got it still plays well enough and it looks great now. And it's what people who remember that game want, is that experience again. So if you just give me more Time Splitters, that'll be fine too.
They can finally Destroy Humans. They can finally get Vin Diesel in the role.
He's too busy with Arc 2.
Yeah,
no, he's way too busy. Still mind-blowing he's part of that.
I think they definitely need to go to the modernization route, because I'm glad that they're not talking about, we're just going to remaster Time Splitters.
Well, they're also doing that, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that they might
will. Oh,
you're crazy not to, right? It'll be it's in the conversation again, so...
I mean, just for fundraising alone, they'll do it. They might not even remaster, just re-release them and update it just a little bit, enough to get them more money to make the new one.
Yeah, it's like I've been playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance again.
Man.
Just before I get to play Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance in a month,
You need more death metal in your head.
So I expect that kind of timing, where, we just kind of suddenly stealth release the original games a month before the new one comes out.
Yeah, and we'll see. I would think that they would do a little bit, and like they could at least do what they did with Saints Row, right? Remaster it to that extent.
Sure,
right? Make it look good. To be on these new consoles that you're putting it on.
Man, Mark, are we going to play Saints Row 3 again now that it's getting the PS5 update?
Yeah, I'm sure that'll really fix the multiplayer.
It'll look better while it's chucking you.
We'll see what they want to do in that, but it's always cool to hear that you're having games come back, at least for those that really enjoyed it. So
as an over 30 person, I approve of this trend.
Yeah. When they announced it, like every old ass person on Twitter was like, "Oh man, Time Splitters is coming back," and I'm like, average age like 34 or something like that. And I'm like, "Yep,
exactly my age." There we go, 34. Let's do it.
I'm just sitting in the corner going, "Cool." So let them have their fun.
If they modernize it, you can enjoy it too.
Exactly. So, I'm always down for a good shooter. So if they pull it through, I'll be glad to hop on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you said good shooter, so that's the problem right there.
Mark.
So, before let's talk about something interesting here with Netflix. Netflix has dabbled in doing interactive media before. They even did the deal with Minecraft to bring the Minecraft like Telltale thing over to Netflix.
Wait, so you can play Telltale games with a TV remote?
Yeah.
It was like Minecraft, and that was it. Yeah, they're trying to. But...
And then the Bandersnatch or whatever.
Oh yeah, right? Bandersnatch is pretty good.
So apparently, similar to what Apple is doing with their Apple Arcade, and because, hey, if you can get this to work, why not charge people $5 more a month and rake in some more money, right? I mean, like if you're Netflix, that's what you're looking at. But they have IPs. They did the Stranger Things 3 game and whatever. So we don't know exactly what route they're going yet, but there are different services out there that can show you what they could do. But there's talk about them interested in verifying their content offerings, and games is one of them. Like, do you think they actually get into games, even though we've seen big companies get into games? What happens, right?
Put the shape-shifting detective on there.
There you go.
And the bunker and all those great FMV games. Her Story, if you can make it work.
Ooh, that'd be really cool on Netflix. You get a lot of people interested in that if they
Hell
just
yeah.
simple remote control. Oh yeah, that'd be great for it.
Do you think they'll actually get into it, or you think this is them just kind of seeing if enough buzz gets made about it?
I wonder if they're even aware of those games.
No, God, no.
Maybe another Bandersnatch, stuff like that. I just think technically, if they try to go any higher, they're gonna hit a wall. Especially if their biggest market is televisions.
Yeah, Bandersnatch is a very simple choose your own adventure.
Yeah, like trying to get the control. Either they have to figure out how to do complex controls on a remote, or they have to wait for any TV to have a controller sync up or plug in, and that's a whole different can of worms right there. They'd have to deal with, and I don't know if they're really looking to deal with that technical problem with it when they're just dealing with their current issues with streaming as it is, just their day-to-day operations.
Yeah. Sean, can you think of, or Mark, can you guys think of another genre other than, I can only think of FMV games that I put on Netflix because I just think of it as television. But
like, do you think that they could possibly, let's say they did an Apple Arcade thing, right? Where they're not necessarily making Netflix games, but they give some of their properties to developers or indie developers and like make a service that you pay. Let's say either they include it into whatever Netflix is now. Let's say they make you have the highest tier in order to do it, so you pay the most money.
That to me sounds like I'm going to be playing like one button, like I'm going to be playing Vault.
It's like Netflix can't handle more than like the input alone would be problematic for Netflix. That's why
phone
games game, would only be the only good one.
And that just makes me think of like Castlevania Flappy Bird, where you got Dracula's head bouncing between walls, stuff like that. Single button.
They could totally do that with the the animated show branding on it. That'd be rad. Sorry, Sean, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I just meant like that's the thing, right? Is for Netflix to do something in the route of like Apple Arcade, Apple has their own phones they can do that on.
Well, they have a good interface and a good input method, not a remote control or voice activation.
Yeah, I mean, they would probably have to do something, or they'd have to do something cloud-based, like maybe make a deal with Microsoft and do their own cloud gaming thing. It just depends on how far they want to go into it, but I really think this is just them talking. I don't know if they're going to really do anything. I know people like to hear it when, oh man, I'm going to get more bang for my buck from Netflix. Like, really? Do you think they're going to spend all that when they're already spending so much on having so much video content? I don't.
Well, part of that, no way they do this and price is the same. It's either an extra service or they up the price for everybody. I don't see them at all doing this and just folding it in. This would be something would cost.
It would cost more, but also like Netflix isn't like doing great right now. Like their content isn't like blowing up the market like Disney Plus is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they just became profitable, but that was because everybody was at home watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, let's see what happens when people are vaccinated and they're going outside again, and they're not stuck in the house. Like, are you going to have these record numbers for Netflix like you have right now? No, I don't think so. So, will they say, okay, we got to go into games because we got to figure out something?
I mean, they'll see like more game adaptations because that's the one thing they excel at.
I mean, they do have Telltale coming back. Maybe they work out a deal with the new Telltale and do stuff like that. Because that seemed to do... Yeah. I played it for 10 minutes back when the Minecraft one came out. It worked well enough, so they might just go that route. They could just license it that way. I'd see most likely, instead of making games work, I would see them just licensing properties to make games. Like, have people make just games for like Xbox or PC and be like, all right, here's Stranger Things, the big game, instead of just the season 3 8-bit one. Do like a big action game.
Queen's Gambit edition.
It'll be
Auto Chess Queen's Gambit. You play against her.
I mean, I bet you that Castlevania show would make a hell of a video game.
Yep. It's too bad it's ending though. Sadly.
That iteration is, but there's other parts of Castlevania that they can make another series from.
Oh, absolutely.
What aren't he still trying to make Devil May Cry?
Yeah,
also,
that'll work.
What they doing?
They already made an animated Devil May Cry to show that. It was fine enough.
I swear, didn't they say something about a Tomb Raider animation coming out too?
Yeah,
okay.
Movie or something.
I wasn't sure if that was real or if I just had a fever dream.
No, they're doing it. I mean, like The World Ends With You has an anime, so I mean
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that would work really well as an anime.
This is like, dude, Scarlet Nexus has an anime in production.
Well, that thing is already an anime. Like that already. That thing looks like one.
But like they had to tie an anime in mind.
Well, good. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's how most of Bandai Namco's properties work. Is they already have an anime to base it off of.
Remember when EA made an animated movie based on Dante's Inferno?
Yes.
Oh, right.
The
vignette one. Yeah, had the different. Yeah. Oh man, that game.
I mean, I'll tell you what, they sold me on that game with that vignette. So,
that game has problems. That's another one. I fell in love with that game. That was such a good God of War clone. Not as good as God of War, but a good clone.
No, it was.
It's just so strange to me that they did. Why not just make an Orpheus video game if you're going to tell the Orpheus story?
True enough.
They've got to make it Dante's Inferno. It makes no sense.
Because people actually know what Dante's Inferno means.
Right, but then they give him the "you've got to get your wife out of hell" storyline, which is not what Dante's Inferno is.
Well, clearly it was the shock value, wasn't it? Didn't they hire protesters to help advertise?
Yes,
Dante's
I was
Inferno?
at that E3.
What insanity!
There was protesters outside.
I would have liked to have played their. Weren't they making a Jack the Ripper game that they canceled in favor of?
God, what?
Yes.
Ooh, that's where you're really hitting the poor taste category. Oh.
Yeah,
that just was gross.
I also kind of
that could have come out back then. Now there's no way in the whole world that would come out now.
Man.
Well, they had the Jack the Ripper DLC in Assassin's Creed.
Well at least
but you're hunting Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, you're hunting him.
This is like there's nothing controversial about Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper either.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
Jack the Ripper was horrible. Whew.
Anyway.
We'll see. We'll see. Netflix is one of those things that like you never know. Reed Hastings will turn the lights on one day and go, "Let's do it. Let's make a bunch of video games or whatever." So.
But if they treat them anything like they treat their shows, they'll also just pull the plug.
Yeah.
Just on a whim.
Yeah. Unless it does insanely well.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't have to do the embarrassing thing Amazon did, then you're good, right?
Well,
so I still want to meet someone that played that game and tell me that it was great or something.
The one that they made, was it for Fire? Was it an Amazon Fire game?
No, it was like an MMO.
Yeah, it was like a full-on. What was that called?
Yeah, Crucible.
Okay.
Was that the one that came out, or was another one?
Well, Crucible was like the shooter, I think, but they're making an MMO called The New World.
That's it.
Okay,
New World.
Yeah.
That's
but Crucible is the one that they had to pull back, right?
Yeah, that's one that they refunded everyone.
Wait, so the MMO is still being made?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
I'm thinking of a different Amazon. There's so many failed Amazon Games projects. It's hard to.
That's right. The Lord of the Rings one's the one that got canned. That's right.
Yeah.
It's all just one jumbled mess.
I like when they talked about how it was basically just impossible to make a Lord of the Rings MMO, where while Lord of the Rings Online is sitting, right over there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's just Lord of the Rings is so perfect for it. I don't know what. I'm sure it takes a lot of time, but it's so perfect for an MMO.
Too hard.
They only have one race in that game. There's not diversity. Like, there's no orcs or goblins or elves or dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to relitigate. There are arguments about Tolkien's racism in the culture out there. So
yeah, we
don't need
that again.
It's a man of his time.
Before we get too far into talking. We talked about what Netflix is going to do. Let's talk about the games we are playing. Jake, what are you playing right now? I saw you've been streaming Returnal.
Mm-hmm.
Mark has the review. I have to actually finish editing it. I'm like halfway on that thing. So what do you think about it?
I really like it. It's kicking my teeth in, and I just keep going back for more.
So does Jens.
Yeah, it's. Oh man, the only reason I haven't died as many times, I've been lucky. I've gone through 5 or 6 different extra 1-ups that they do in that game. Sort of, I got lucky on a couple runs, but that game, the gameplay's so fluid. The story's really good so far. Got to Act 2, I think. I'm on Biome 4, I believe. I'm interested to see where it goes. It's the DualSense is amazing with it. The rain, of course, everyone talked about the rain on it. It's great. The shooting's smooth. The graphics are gorgeous. It's a good, solid example of what next gen can be, and I'm excited to see where it goes from that. But yeah, I'm gonna see it through to the end, no matter how times it wants to beat me down and try and get me to quit.
That's the spirit. Keep going with that. I mean, have you encountered any of the crazy bugs or anything?
I've been going slow, so streaming it once a week for 3-4 hours has really helped with. I've been past a lot of the patches, and okay. I've been too scared. I haven't stopped in a run because I'm too scared of the update or the refresh people have been talking about, where you lose your run. I'm too paranoid about that, so it was I could be ready to pass out right there at the desk. I'm going to finish this run. Because I'm not going to lose the last 3 hours I've been playing because my PS5 needs to update.
No, that's definitely understandable. I wouldn't want to go through that either.
Man.
I mean, Mark, I know you have you've now put it down for another game, but
yep. I finished Mass Effect 1 on the Legendary Edition thing. And I'm knee deep in Mass Effect 2.
I mean, that's the other part. I saw that on the thing, so I'm prepped up for that too. Just all sorts of merch for it today. Yeah.
I don't think I like Mass Effect 1 shooting that much, or Mass Effect 2 shooting that much.
Interesting.
They fixed Mass Effect 1 shooting, so it actually feels good now, and Mass Effect 2 feels like an old throwback.
Okay.
And I always hated the ammo system in that game.
It was a weird job.
Yeah. Because in Mass Effect 1, you could really mitigate that. It's I installed this mod that I can shoot way more now. In Mass Effect 2, you just can't do that. So my assault rifle has 30 shots, and that's it. And it sucks.
That's weird that they didn't just go ahead and modernize all of them instead of just the first one.
I don't think there's anything to fix about the feel for 2, but admittedly, I have not gotten there in the Legendary Edition.
Yeah, I mean, it plays just like you would remember it, but I mean...
I remember it being good.
Well, I mean, if you play Mass Effect 1, that feels way better, so that's the issue. It's okay, this felt good back then, but Mass Effect 1 feels good now, and now 2 feels kind of archaic.
Okay.
Yeah, because 2, they already kind of modernized it from 1, and it plays like a more modern shooter with RPG, so they didn't really have much to tune it. They'd have to completely change up the game, but I'm intrigued to see. I'm still working through 1, so I want to see how 2 feels after playing 1.
What Mark describes sounds like how the Yakuza community now, for some reason, thinks that 3 and 4 are the worst feeling ones, just because they're the ones that are just, HD upgrades and not remakes.
Right.
You also can't heal yourself in Mass Effect 2. That really sucks.
Oh, right, yeah. It went towards the Halo style healing, yeah.
Yeah, and they pretty much dumped the map. Because it's funny, the guy, last week, the guy was saying he didn't like the map system in Mass Effect 1. It's well, Mass Effect 2 has no map. So that's way worse.
I feel what you're experiencing there is similar to what I'm experiencing with Nier Replicant version 1224744871139.
Oh my God, only you would say the whole freaking title.
Namely, that it's so much less user-friendly than Automata was, even though I played Nier back in the day. But I had just somehow, buried deep in my subconscious some of these issues, especially with the side quests and the way that doing a whole bunch of them is required to unlock the proper endings or the C and D endings, and how none of them are ever marked on the map. and there's also no fast travel. It's just like, man, it's hard to go back to this relative to Automata for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still gonna get through it eventually. It's just going much more slowly than I would have anticipated.
So, like, what are you liking about it?
I mean, the story, the music, the art direction, the combat's pretty good. It's not Automata good, but it's a pretty good upgrade. You know, they did a good job of doing Platinum style combat that feels fluid and nice, while not being Platinum technically. So that it's impressive technically. It looks really good. You know, it's a nice upgrade over original Nier, and apparently there's all new content somewhere in the middle of it, and a whole new ending. But I'm not anywhere there yet, so I have no opinion on them.
Fair enough. Hey, at least you're getting to enjoy it, and that's
at the moment it's just like this is a really nice version of Nier, but also, damn it, these side quests
could have been more.
These side quests aren't helpful.
Yeah, I feel like they could at least after the first playthrough, like opened up safe spots as fast travel spots. But again, that goes against the original. The original design philosophy of Nier is much more hardcore than Automata was. So I think I've just been spoiled.
Jake, I mean, like, so are you enjoying? Like, how do you feel about replaying? Are you replaying one, or are you playing it for the first time?
Oh, I'm replaying. I obsessed in my teenage years over all the Mass Effects, like ridiculously over the top, in love with them. One does feel a lot, but you can actually use a sniper. That was
that's like one thing. Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad in the first game. Oh, what did they do? You can use any gun as any class. You were limited in that in the first game. Love that they've changed that because that makes no sense. It's like you're an engineer, though you can't use a sniper rifle. Okay. Don't get why that's possible, but it's a lot smoother. It's a lot prettier. It's weird seeing modern textures with the old facial animations.
Yep.
It's like a great wax museum come to life. Watching them try to talk. The aliens look great, but that's just because they're aliens. You don't know what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
I could not make a satisfying femshep. Like I remembered liking my old femshep back in the day, playing the original version of the game, but I think I'm just gonna do male shep now. Just because they've got an actual facial model for him, and it's not the female default. I feel for femshep is horrible.
Interesting.
But then when you change it, she just becomes generic, NPC woman. So there's
I like that name.
Yeah,
NPC woman. I just usually pick base male shep. Yep. I just lazy. Yeah, I was just lazy about it.
I don't need to spend an hour trying to make some custom character yens.
Well, again, I just used to like playing femshep, but yeah.
Well, technically, femshep is canon, so
sure, but she does not hold up in these up-res graphics at all. It looks pretty. She looks pretty terrible. Or, I mean, I did my best with the character model, so.
I'd want to see her in 2 and 3 because I'm assuming that's going to be an enormous leap in quality. The problem is 1, they were just building everything, and they didn't affect that. They just up-res they added textures and stuff. They didn't change the animations. So
you know what I missed from original Mass Effect 1 because I always really quite liked it is the film grain.
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, is it?
Oh, completely. Like the whole intro sequence. Like the intro was really cool because like flying to the ship. And you see all the crew members.
Oh, right.
And it was very grainy, like intentionally, and that's just like gone, like missing completely. And it's like, what happened? Like that was cool.
Yeah, they should have made it. It's not an option you can turn on either.
Nope.
No.
That's a bummer. That should have been at least just like a little toggle.
They did away with it at around the time of 3, which is one of the reasons why I didn't like 3.
I think I got rid of it in like 2, honestly. But yeah,
2 had it as an option off by default, but you could turn it back on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they really went all out on like 80s sci-fi on that with between the synth and the film grain. They went
that really synth score still the best score in the series to me.
So good.
And that M2 end title song is also pretty great. What's it, Fonts or whatever?
I'm just ready to listen to When You Leave Earth in Mass Effect 3. That's one of the best composed pieces of music in games.
Oh yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, they got Clint Mansell on that in addition to the original composers.
Ooh, so they actually did some work to remaster it. The music on it?
Oh, for the new? No, I just meant for Mass Effect 3.
I thought you meant
they
went back and
engaged
touched
a
it up.
film composer to help out the video game composers.
Okay, well, it shows
they wanted somebody more prestigious on it.
That soundtrack is beautiful for 3.
Yeah, it's got some stuff in it for sure.
Well, Jake, explain to me what is. I've heard people talk about it, right? It's not totally oblivious to what it is, but like people who just saw it on Game Pass were like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't play this kind of game. Like, what is Rain on Your Parade? What are you doing?
What you are, it's got a very arts and crafts theme, which I like. So your cloud is actually just a little cardboard cutout of a cloud hanging from strings you see. The whole world's made of like, I think the ground is paper towels and just arts and craftsy built stuff. Cool. And all you're doing is you're trying to just ruin everything regardless. First mission, you're supposed to rain on a wedding, get everybody wet and ruin the day. And then it just kind of escalates from there. You have to burn all the product in a warehouse by spreading oil. You absorb oil and then you burn the warehouse, like all the stuff in it. You at one point can grab a black hole and suck it through a town, sucking in the buildings and all that. It just escalates. I think right now I'm in an RPG quest a la Legend of Zelda where I now rain swords. It just it's fun. From what I've read, it's like 2-3 hours long, but it's just a weird. They clearly are just like, we're gonna mess around with this and just have fun. It's just a fun little light puzzler, fixed perspective, and you just kind of do. And they're each levels, so it's kind of like an Overcooked layout.
I'm getting a Donut Country vibe from this.
For which one?
This Rain on Your Parade game. I'm getting a Donut Country vibe as far as
there's actually a mission that's literally like Donut County. It's that black hole one is a lot like Donut County. It's just suck everything up into the hole. It gets a little more complicated than Donut County. You get different abilities that help you solve stuff differently. But yeah, it's that kind of small, weird, clearly they made it just to have fun sort of game. And I'd recommend if somebody try, especially with Game Pass. It's a good afternoon. It's like 3-ish hours long.
Looks great.
I'm just about done. It's fun.
Oh, definitely one I got to check out on Game Pass for sure. Anybody, I know I'm going to check it out on Game Pass. Has been getting a lot of great press with the, was it a blockade or whatever it's called, that it's on the beta for Knockout City.
Oh, right.
The multiplayer dodgeball game.
I've been hearing so much. I need to play that. I downloaded it, just haven't played it yet because they added it to EA Play, which I don't think it's a beta. It's just out now, right?
Well, like they did 10 days. It's free as part of a beta, and I think it stays on Game Pass, and then after that, you have to buy it on the other systems.
And
there's crossplay if you have it on Game Pass with Game Pass PC and not with Steam, but you can with the Game Pass PC. So
that's weird.
There's that. They might put it in afterwards, right?
I mean, it does advertise Game Pass for PC really well.
I bet they'll do it. Microsoft's never been one to like, since they've started really being proponents of crossplay, they haven't really been like trying to gate that or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets added at some point. But it does make sense right now in the period where everybody gets to play it. Try to keep it out. Everybody kind of locked to their thing, but it's out on everything. You could even download it on Switch if you wanted to and play it on there.
Okay.
Although I don't know what their online thing, if you have to pay for their Switch online to get that or not. So I
would guess, but I mean that's where Nintendo shines the most. Is it's what, $20 for a year?
Yeah, $20 for a year for its online service that is
no one cares about.
Iffy at best.
It's definitely worth $20 a year, if not more. It's fine, but if it were more, no.
Yeah, I don't even pay for it because it's just like until they start releasing. I mean, we're kind of bouncing around, but like did everybody see the wonderful games that they released?
This on the dock
for the thing. I mean, now to be fair, I owned both Joe and Mac and Super Baseball Simulator 1000. I played the crap out of Super Baseball Simulator 1000. That game is fun, but I was also like, I can't even remember how old. Like I was in my if I was like 10. I can't exactly remember. Like, but that game was fun. It was fun to have like your friend over and just, hey, I can throw a thunderball and he can't hit it. Like, that's great. Like when I'm thinking about SNES games that I want to be able to go back and play, I don't know that it's that one, right? And Joe and Mac was fine. I don't know if I want to go back and play that either. And then the other stuff, what are we doing, Nintendo? We're still adding all this
There's
crazy stuff.
There's like 100 people that made their day, but
yeah,
about 100 people.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody who probably remembers Spanky's Quest or, Magical Drop 2 or whatever. But it's just like,
and I mean, it's good preservation. I mean, that's at least something there. So somebody can play it.
These games are much better than Earthbound.
I mean, or almost any of the games that were on that SNES Classic that are not on this thing yet. I mean,
oh man, please give me the rest of those.
You'd think that they would like try to make those thing for like one of their E3 directs. Like, hey, we put out like 10 or whatever games from that were on the SNES Classic on your Switch Online. You can go play them like right now or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
Who knows? Maybe that's why this one's a little bit of a dud. Maybe they're holding that back for a month. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I can dream.
If that wasn't the case for like in the entirety of last year as well, so like I would agree with you, but I don't know. I mean, okay, like you said, cool for preservation, cool that they got like Ninja Maruja-kun, I can't say it, that it was only released in Japan previously and they brought it over, to be released in like all regions. That's cool. Like, but I mean, I don't know. You would think that they would try to say, okay, here's your big release, and then we'll put all this other smaller stuff in here so you can enjoy it if you want to. But Nintendo just does their thing. You just gotta like deal with whatever they decide to put out. At times, it is what it is. So I'm gonna take the opportunity because I did play this on Switch. Arrow Knights Never Yield. Now, to be fair, if you play it on Series X or PS5, it's going to look crisper. It's going to look nicer. I watched gameplay of it being played on Series X. It looks better. Obviously, I was playing it on handheld the entire time, so I wouldn't be able to tell you what it looked like on the screen. But I never had problems with it slowing down. It was really fun. It's an auto runner made by one man, Neil Jones, who's also Arrow Knight, and he designed the game. He made the gameplay. He combined with a few people on the amazing soundtrack. If you thought Persona 5 brought back jazz in a great way for video games, this does the same thing and adds hip hop beats and record swishes and funky guitar and bass in there. I don't own a lot of game soundtracks. I bought this one and it's been stuck in my head for like a week. It's $5 on Steam. It's like $8. I think it's like $10 on Bandcamp. So whatever you want to buy it on. I can't say enough. Like the visuals are great. Like I love the style of it, the futuristic Detroit that you're in. I mean, sure, it's an auto runner. You're just jumping over obstacles, whatever, but it just has this way of how it does everything that's just fun, and I can definitely see it being a Game Pass game at some point. But like, it's only like $12, so it's short. The only bad thing is like the normal mode to get to the other modes, which are better because they're more. This is sort of like there's a pseudo rhythm game element to it as well. Like to get past the normal mode, which tries to slow everything down so you get used to when to jump over the obstacle or when to slide or whatever. It's not the best either because once you like learn that, you also kind of want to go faster, and that automatically slows you down. And to go through a level on the harder difficulty, you have to beat it on that normal mode first. So that kind of was a little bit of a downer, but I think aside from that, I like really enjoyed that game, and definitely when we're talking about like best soundtracks, that's going to be in here, at least on my end. You should check it out, Jens. You're the
Sure.
you're the soundtrack man. I bet you will enjoy it.
Alrighty.
So, anybody have any other?
I picked up two old ass expensive games.
Well, you haven't played them yet.
I've played them before. I mean, that's why I bought them.
Sure.
I picked up Lunar 2 Eternal Blue for the PS1.
Oh, Luna 2 is great. Yes.
And I picked up Growlancer Generations for the PS2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That set me back a little.
All right. Hey, enjoy those older games. I mean, why not? You're getting the preservation out of it. So
yeah.
Are you actually going to go through and play them, or?
I actually do want to play Lunar 1 and 2, so I'll probably go through that. I only played the first Growlancer game though, so I never played the second one, so I may try that also.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool when you can always, as long as they were fair price, right? You were not.
How do you define that?
Well, I guess whatever you're fair for what you felt like.
Yeah,
I mean, be worth, right?
Growlancer was like $240, and
Jesus Christ,
Lunar was like $290.
Wow. Hey, I mean,
but Lunar was like basically brand new. Like everything in it was unopened, which is cool.
Hey, that's
that just means you can never play it because you'll reduce its value.
Well, the game is open, but I mean, like all the crap that came with it is still
fresh. Oh, that's good.
Okay, yeah, that's simple.
I can eventually rip you the soundtrack as well.
Ooh.
I love that soundtrack.
I've been greatly enjoying Resident Evil Village. It's so good.
How'd you like? Well, you should talk about your Scarlet Nexus.
Oh, you immediately that's a sudden subject change.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you were hyped for this game. You were telling me, "Oh, I want to review it." All this stuff, like this game comes out in a month, and then you play the demo, and you're like, "I don't know if this is doing it for me." Why?
I'm not saying it's not good.
Okay.
It actually has a really nifty combat system, a very complex combat system, which basically is based on building long chains, alternating between your melee powers and your psychic powers. So you've got your psychic powers, which is basically you pick up objects in the environment and throw them as projectiles, kind of like you would in Gravity Rush.
So it's not like Astral Chain.
Sorry?
It's not. I was thinking of Astral Chain.
So obviously Astral Chain has the whole you're controlling secondary summons aspect of it, and the literal chain aspect, and like roping things. Like it doesn't have any of that stuff. But what it does have is you've got a party. Like imagine Devil May Cry, but you have a party with you, and you can lean on their abilities, and kind of they will lend you. So they each have their own ability, but you can also take their abilities for a limited time and can thus become super fast or invisible or whatever. And you need to, in a rock, paper, scissors way, apply the correct abilities to the correct monster. So there's some monsters that are really fast, so you yourself have to be really fast to be on even standing with them, for instance. And all the while, it's asking you to combo your melee attacks with your psychic attacks, where you will time your psychic attack when your melee attack hits, and vice versa, to string them together and alternate between them. So it's very technical, and there's a lot of stuff to keep track of. And I don't know if I mean, it's not like I don't play those kinds of games ever. It's just, I guess I wasn't in the particular mood for it the other day. Yeah, I think for me, it's just more that I was kind of hoping for more Code Vein, and they made a totally different game. It still has that aesthetic, the visual aesthetic at least, but it does not feel anything like Code Vein. So that's the thing that I was coming to terms with.
It's not Code Vein.
Oh, not at all. So that'll be a positive for most people, but for me, it's just something I have to come to terms with. That I was kind of hoping for a spiritual successor to that. But I guess it's not surprising, seeing how the first game was a Monster Hunter like, and then they made a Souls like, and now they made it Devil May Cry like. So they're going through the genres and trying their hands at it.
Nothing wrong with mixing it up.
No, I mean. Yeah. It seems really cool, and the reception of the demo has been pretty glowing on the internet.
Maybe it'll grow on you.
Yeah, I don't know. It got me a little bit of that. What was that? Sunset Overdrive.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I
Sunset
love
Overdrive, okay.
Sunset Overdrive.
Yes.
I'm not saying it plays
So smooth.
anything like Sunset Overdrive. I'm just saying I had the same kind of mental overhead issue.
Okay,
With
it's not
this,
quite what you
I
thought.
have, yeah. Well, where it's just like, oh, I have to keep so many things in mind at every moment of this game, which on the one hand makes it very engaging, but on the other hand, makes it,
exhausting as well.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm not a hater on Scarlet Nexus. I'll probably still play it eventually. I just I didn't really feel like doing a write-up for the demo, so I was like,
Okay. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
You like the village though?
I really love Resident Evil Village. Man, like the presentation on that game is astounding. It is one of the best settings I've ever seen. That opening is just heart-pounding. The first attack that you have to survive before you get to the castle. Like it actually, like I had to take a couple of days break from it after playing the first hour and a half of that game, where I was just not in the mood to come back to it yet. But then as soon as I got back into it, all my trepidation was completely pointless because it turned from being a game that I actually found really terrifying in the first hour and a half to being just, oh, it's an awesome shooter now. And I've got plenty of resources, and there's just cool, crazy, over-the-top action set pieces all the time where your protagonist, Ethan, takes an absolutely obscene amount of punishment and then just, douses himself in health juice to make it all better. I don't want to spoil some of it because it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Poor hands. There's a reason the hands are a meme. That's all we can say on
the hands take so much damage. So I love all that stuff. I love all the crazy, stupid designs of I guess they're monarchs. I don't really know what they are, but like one guy's got Magneto powers. Obviously, we've got tall vampire lady that
the
we
lords.
all love, and
yeah,
they're all really cool. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm not done with it yet. I'm kind of just finished doing all the masks in Castle Dimitrescu. So first third of the game, I guess. But if it continues along these lines, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, Randy's he talked about it a lot. Yeah, his reviews. I also gotta finish Mark's first, and then get to Randy's Resident Evil review, and he loved it as well. So that's gonna be an interesting chapter select when you guys.
Yeah, but that's the one thing though. It has ceased being scary. It has now become a camp, over the top, amusing shooter thing, and ceased being a horror game for me at least. Apart from occasionally it'll still get me with a particular thing, but especially when you're in the cutscene, first-person set pieces and stuff, that's when you really feel the safest because you know that you're in the scripted sequence, right? So it kind of takes that.
Well, that's important too.
Well, you said you're in the castle, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into details, but that'll change.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit. You're not at the scary part of the game. There's a part that'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So after the castle, be ready.
Oh, there you go. He just put that back in.
It's exciting.
All right. Well, we have been playing a lot, so that's good. Also on Game Pass this week, I know I'm going to check it out for next week. The Wild at Heart indie game that day and date release for Game Pass. That was shown off at the ID at Xbox thing. I was excited to play it when they showed it, so definitely going to be able to talk about it next week. I don't know. I'm going to dive into that. So might try out that Scarlet Nexus demo now that Jens has told me it is not Code Vein, because Jens is a big Dark Souls guy. I was not. I got roped into Code Vein for the anime part, and then found out it was a Dark Souls game. I was like, "Oh man, what the hell is wrong with this?" So
this is what I signed up for.
Yeah, this is not what I wanted. Thanks.
Yeah. Now you're getting a more of an Astral Chain type thing.
I love the Astral Chain, so that sounds good to me. So there's only like not too much we're going to talk about before we get into the main topic here. I feel like we gotta get into this amiibo business with Skyward Sword. Look, Nintendo doing stuff like this is not anything new. But the fact that look, it looks cool, right? Like,
it's a cool amiibo. I mean, I might have bought it anyway, but now I'm just bitter about the fact that I have to buy it.
I mean, when you buy a $60 remaster of a game, you expect the quality of life to be in the game, not attached to a figure that costs another $25. Especially
not
something
this thing is going to sell out, and people aren't going to buy this.
Now, can one of y'all confirm for me whether the fast travel is a thing that was normally available in the original version of the game, or whether it's something that they're adding now?
In the original Wii version of the game, Link can travel to the surface to the sky by visiting certain locations up to the sky option. Players with the Zelda and Loftwing amiibo will now be able to tap on their controller.
So it's taking away quality of life.
No, it's adding because you can do it anywhere.
Yeah, so instead of having to go to certain points to travel, you just can do it anywhere with the amiibo.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. They're making this easier for you if you spend another $15 to $20. Or be an idiot and spend like $80 to $90 on eBay. Please don't do that.
I just wish I could
give those people.
I wish I could buy a Nia Replicant amiibo that would let me fast travel in Nia Replicant.
Oh man,
Nintendo doesn't make a killer if they did that. But it looked. I mean, if you haven't seen what it looks like, you definitely should. It looks great. But man, Nintendo, come on.
Well, and the other part that makes it a little more gross, they said no other Skyward Sword amiibo will work. So if you already bought, say, the Link Skyward Sword one, that won't do it either. It has to be the brand new amiibo. You have to buy that one or nothing.
So what, are the other ones just not do anything?
Apparently, no. According to Nintendo, it sounds like the other amiibos don't do anything in Skyward Sword. It's just the new one.
Oh, what a way to...
If I'm wrong, please send the angry comments my way.
I mean, if it does anything, it'll probably be like, give you an extra heart or something something stupid like that.
Like, what a way to make sure this thing goes nuts getting sold. Like, oh.
Scalpers are drooling.
And people are worried about Pokemon cards at Target. Hey, look at this thing.
Well, I've got Mark to thank for actually finding me another one after the Best Buy sold out immediately.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
And it's crazy. Within I would say 5 minutes of the original tweet of that thing being announced.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's also Nintendo. They can do that stuff.
I mean, I plan on getting around this by using my amiibo like puck thing to just download the amiibo, do it, and using it that way.
Yeah, at least get the function out of it. Just start throwing those out to people. Do a parade and throw them like pennies.
They see Mark actually like the collectibles too.
I like a collectible if it does something cool.
I mean, there is just a thing to having collectibles. But
also, don't care about Skyward Sword. So that's
I love me some collectibles, as you can see back here.
Oh yeah. I've been wanting to play that Skyward. I never got deep into it because I hated the controls on the Wii so much at the time. Yeah. That I've always hoped for. Give me a remaster that controls like a normal video game.
I'm still hoping that tutorial somehow got shortened by like 2 hours.
Oh yeah, that's what it's infamous for, right?
Oh God, it's worse than the one on Kingdom Hearts 2. It felt like it. Yeah.
Did they not learn from Twilight Princess? I actually have not played Skyward Sword.
Twilight Princess is the one that broke me personally. So I'm like, I really don't want to play Skyward Sword.
Once you get past the first 5-6 hours of Twilight Princess, it's great, but you have to get past the first 5 or 6
Once you have to stop the bull rushing towards the village in Twilight Princess, I'm like, nope.
No.
One of the greatest games with one of the worst openings. Oh, those first couple hours are hard.
That's not, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like Kingdom Hearts is like that too, where that tutorial area takes forever, and I'm just like, look, I like voxels and everything, but good God, let's go.
Oh man, that one is. I don't know how young me understood that because I never played Chain of Memories, and if you don't play that, 2 makes no sense.
Yep, exactly. I only got to a certain part because I couldn't beat the card thing. Got to the point where I was like, oh, this is just confusing.
It's hard.
And I was like, I'm just gonna go play 2, and I had no idea what the heck was going on. And I was just like,
you're not meant to know. That's the thing.
It's the mystery.
It's the mystery of it too. So Well, I mean, we have some, an interesting tidbit about Overwatch 2. I don't play Overwatch at all, so I don't, this is more of a Mark thing. But apparently, Overwatch 2 is now going to go from 6 players to 2 teams of 5. So it's going to be 10 players at once. Mark, how does this change the game?
I haven't a clue. I mean, they dump one of the tanks because it used to just be 2 tanks, 2 damage, and 2 heal people, okay. And now it's just 1 tank.
So is this to make it to where like the game goes faster?
I imagine so, because some of those, it can take a while. I just thought it was funny because I think it was the Kotaku when people were like, there was some article about like, oh, the pro teams they're worried that players are going to get cut, and it's like, why don't they just form their own team then? Like if 5 people get cut from a team, they can form their own team then.
Yeah.
I think the worry on that is it's all one class, so it makes it a little harder to do that because you can't have like 5 people that all play tanks start a new team. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. They might, I'm sure plenty of them are going to just tweak it and just try and learn a new character because it's said the game's not out till at least next year. Yeah, it is an interesting thing on seeing. It's weird where we've reached a point where one player is taken from a multiplayer game and that affects an entire person's career.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
A
weird world we live in.
That's a bad world we live in.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the way of competitive gaming, So
the meta is real.
Yeah, the meta is, and this will definitely affect that meta. So, Mark, you continue to want to talk about this Codemasters thing.
Yeah. So, that's so hard reading that.
Codemasters. Okay, so
nice.
Mark is, to be fair, Mark is he's a racing game guy. He likes.
I've liked some Codemasters games in the past, not many of their recent ones. But the headline I say is EA lies that Codemasters will remain independent like Respawn, because the EA CEO is like, oh, it's gonna be like just like Respawn, that they'll have their independence, and it's like, okay, where's Titanfall 3?
No, I mean Respawn was lucky. Respawn lucked into their independence with Apex Legends being good.
Yeah, but now they are beholden to Apex Legends. They can't make a Titanfall 3 because they have to keep pumping out crap for Apex.
Well, and then aren't they going to put Titanfall stuff into Apex now as well?
The newest hero is basically a tie-in to Titanfall 2.
Yeah. I don't care about the multiplayer though. Like I like Titanfall 2's story or single player. Like that's right. The issue.
I get that. That was my favorite part of Titanfall 2 as well. I'm just saying,
but you don't know if it's because they're beholden to some corporate master, or if this is actually just by choice that they're focusing on things that you don't want them to focus on.
People have said that they want to make Titanfall 3, but they can't.
Okay.
I'm surprised they don't let just Respawn have its own, you can't have a different side studio that's working on Titanfall 3 and, let the bulk of the studio still work on Apex or whatever. It's I don't know why you have to turn it into an Epic thing where everybody freaking works on Fortnite.
Well, it's the same thing that happened with Epic a long time ago with Shadow Complex. They bought Chair and they made that Infinity Blade game, and it's well, now we're making that forever because it's the one game that is good on iOS at the time.
Yes. Yeah. The key on all this too is you got to remember too, they have grown, but they're also doing the Jedi Fallen Order games, so they already have a studio split up into different departments. I think if they weren't going to work on Titanfall 3, I think EA's been swayed a little bit by what was that when they called on people to play it? It went up 650% in players on Steam. Yeah. So it shows the demand's enormous for it. So I could imagine they could leverage that into being see, people want this game, but I don't work at EA. I don't know diddly squat, but I could see them. Respawn's getting a bit more sway with EA because they're starting to become kind of a cash cow for them. I could see them being come on, we can make some money. Just don't release us between Battlefield and Call of Duty again.
Yeah.
Because that made me so mad. They sent that game out to die.
I know that's so
That broke my heart.
sad because that game was so good, and then
So good.
it got lambasted by putting it between the two major games. Like
one that they published.
Yep.
One that they themselves were publishing.
Like you couldn't have
Easy
moved it
stuff,
1 week or something. Like, come on.
It's an old story, but that still rubs me wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you talk to the devs, it rubs them the wrong way too. Still.
Well, I just can't wait to see the loot box situation in Codemasters' new racing games.
Yeah. Interesting. That always. I mean, you feel like this should have come out a long time ago, but if it comes out before the second newbie, it's good enough too. Sega might be planning a Sonic the Hedgehog game collection as part of a 30th anniversary celebration.
That's a bad idea.
Why?
Because like half of Sonic's games aren't good.
Yeah, but come on.
I mean,
the collection is just going to be the two.
It's a
just going to be the
collection,
classic stuff.
I mean, but they've already done those. I mean,
yeah, but they're going to do it again.
Okay, but even if they did include some of the 3D stuff, like it's a collection, like that you bid.
Yeah,
you
but
pick
like,
what you want to play. I mean,
think about like Mario, like the 3D games in Mario, or like Mega Man, like the Mega Man collections. Like Mega Man has a general level of quality. Sonic does not.
Well, that's true, but I mean that way you can learn to appreciate all of Sonic.
Unless it's going to have Sonic the Fighters in it, then I'm not.
As a completionist, if you tell me, here's Sonic Drift, here's Sonic Boom, here's Sonic and the Secret Rings, right? Here's Shadow the Hedgehog,
Sonic Chaos,
yeah. If Sonic Shot, whatever.
There's Tails Adventure for the Game Gear.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. That isn't there also like some infamous fan made. Anyway, the point is.
The Sonic 06.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Sonic 06, which I mean, that's the one that they've been sweeping under the rug forever. Yeah. So I don't expect them to really put those games. I don't know which one, the one where he turns into a werewolf, the one where he fights the Black Knight.
Yeah. Like I said, Sonic has been dumb for 20 years.
Yeah, But so yeah, if you either give me a giant completionist thing, then it doesn't matter that the individual games are bad because here's just the complete history.
Yeah, the problem with that thinking is after 1994 in the collection, you won't touch any of them ever again.
Well, but that's fine though.
Yeah, but people will want to feel like, oh, I have the complete Sonic. That'd be one way that you could do it. I don't think they will, though. I think what this is going to be is just here's the classic 2D Sonics.
I mean, think about
that's it.
I guess I think about
going to apparently do
maybe Adventure and Adventure 2.
I just think about the Metacritic for like Mario as a franchise.
Sure,
it'd probably be like 85, 90 maybe. Zelda's the same way. Sonic is like 40.
Yeah, but this is gonna they might throw in they may throw in like a Sonic CD or like one rare thing, right, as the hook to get you to buy it. But other than that, it's just gonna be repackaged, reheated.
Yeah, but that's my point though. They already did it with Sonic Mega Collection like 15 years ago on the Xbox. Well, I mean, they just released that.
There's kids that have been born in that time that have grew up and they have no idea what Sonic is. I mean,
and I might want to earn those trophies.
It'll be like talking to your kid, like, back in my day, Sonic used to be good.
Yeah, and here
you're playing the same Sonic I am, so.
I'm in favor of keeping those games. I mean, any game that you can keep in circulation if it's a classic, I'm in favor of it. I don't mind re-releases. There's nothing wrong with them.
I mean, look, Zelda, Mario did their thing. They didn't. I still don't think they did enough, in my opinion. And like, where's Galaxies 2 still? And,
that's man, brutal.
And we don't know if Zelda's going to get one or not. I guess we got to wait to see at E3 if it is getting one. And like, why Sonic cannot? I mean, I know. Look, I get it, Mark. Like most of Sonic stuff after a certain year sucked. Total whatever. But like it still exists, right? Like it could still be put into a collection, and you could say, "Look, through the good and bad, we love Sonic, and here he is." I don't.
All right. I just want to bring up that Sonic is terrible.
Okay.
I mean, at least they nailed it with Sonic Mania.
Let's say
Mania was good.
Even if you just put like, here's Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood on there, you know, you just need one. You just need one game that people actually want to play.
Yeah,
and the rest of it
Shadow
can be
games in
just.
there with...
Yeah, but that was a Wii game, so they'd actually have to do work on that.
No, that was.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that one, Shadow. I was thinking of the DS one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is a DS one. But
It's a BioWare game. You guys should be all about it.
Oh God, I forgot BioWare in that game.
I forget. Oh man, the history of some studios. It's just
It's crazy.
Yeah, and anyway, unless we know, my only point is, unless we actually know what's in it, it's impossible to get excited about it. Is there anything in the story, Sean? Anything of concreteness?
No, other than the fact that they were planning to possibly release different engine remakes of 1 and 2.
Okay, different engine.
They've never been released before. That's it.
I'm assuming for frame rate purposes. If they do Sonic with crazy unlocked frame rate, you play it again, right?
Well, people have done like HD remakes.
Okay, I realize that you're all about your fan mods and stuff on PC, but for people who only play console games, we don't get this stuff unless it comes. Yeah, exactly. Unless somebody official makes a right decision.
Well, it's the same thing with Mass Effect. Mass Effect, you could do some of the stuff that's been put in the remaster with mods already, but it's now into the actual game. So, But okay, last thing, we gotta keep going on to that main topic. GTA 5 is gonna come to your current consoles. God, if you're still getting excited for this, I don't know.
Wait, so didn't we cover this already?
Who doesn't? Who
now there's like a launch date.
Yeah, it's a launch date thing.
This is like the official full. Like, hey, it's coming up.
So November 11, 2021. Wow, the fall. We're really that dearth of games, so we gotta release an old game from the PS3 and 360 onto the PS5 and Series X in November, but it's still gonna sell like hotcakes, and don't be surprised at all.
Where's my HD remake of the Warriors?
Man,
that's a Rockstar game that people can get behind.
Yeah, sure.
That and the
bring back table tennis. Yes,
you can't mention the Warriors without somebody mentioning table tennis.
I love table tennis so much. That was such a weirdly good game.
It's very impressive at the time.
All it was an engine test, and yet they made one of the best, one of my favorite sports games in years.
It was that and Fight Night for me early on that generation, as far as graphics.
Fight Night was just beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah.
But so, and of course, if you own a PS5, you get the online. Grand Theft Auto Online will be free for 3 months on PS5. So there you go. All right, so let's get on to our main event of the evening, the Xbox E3. We know they're having a showcase, not like Sony where we were kind of guesstimating whether they would do something. Nintendo is going to do the direct thing. Xbox is going to go big here. How big, and what do you think we're going to see, Jake? What do you think is out here for?
So are you wanting me to start with more kind of I think's going to happen, or just kind of crazy go buck wild?
Okay, so go with what you think is going to happen.
One I think it's overdue, and I think it's about time. I think we see Wolfenstein 3. I think there's going to be announcements. It's been 4 years since New Colossus. They've been.
You don't think they wait for that Bethesda one that they're going to do later? They're going to do it here?
Well, I think it all depends what it is. They said they're kind of separate, but I see them kind of linking it together. Xbox spent so much money. They want to say Bethesda's Xbox. So I think they're going to be more tight-knit than they've kind of let on into one conference.
Yeah.
I see Wolfenstein. I see it being like Wolfenstein 3. I think it could even be like September this year, day one Game Pass until Halo's out. Like right before Halo, like here's a campaign you can play in 10, 12 hours while you wait for the last couple of months to Halo. Go shoot some Nazis for a bit.
You think that they're really going to be, they will have been working on Wolfenstein 3 this entire time, and then the Machine Game is also doing that Indiana Jones game just separately out there?
I think so, because I think they've been working. So, it's been 4 years. It was 2017 when they did New Colossus. And I think that Indiana Jones team's kind of a smaller part of it. Just for now, they're kind of just developing out the core of it. Because they didn't do a release date. They just had a simple pan shot of a table. So I think they're really early on that. And all they've done since then is they kind of helped Arcane do Youngbloods. And beyond that, we've literally heard nothing about them for years. They've been so nose to the grindstone. I think it's about time. If we at least hear of it. If it's not this year, I think it's kind of a cinch that we hear about it, because it's about time for them to show off something.
Oh, for sure. I think you definitely got to show. I think you definitely. I agree with you on. We're gonna get one Bethesda thing. They're not gonna show off a lot, but I feel like that Bethesda thing's gonna be Starfield. They're gonna show you something from Starfield. You're gonna get a sense of what the game is. Maybe not necessarily like a big length of gameplay, but okay, you'll know what it is. You'll get that release date, whatever the heck it is in 2022, and people will be excited to finally know, okay, here it is, that first big exclusive from the Bethesda team. Would that be cool for them to do Wolfenstein 3 there as well? Sure, because I'm a huge Wolfenstein fan, so I'm down.
Wolfie's way more likely than indie, since Wolfenstein is actually
close. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I would be totally surprised if we see anything indie at either conference. Like that.
I think years before we see that game again. They just wanted to be. I bet you anything it was the licensee of Indiana Jones says you got to say something and start building hype for it. I don't think it was their choice.
One release that I want to see is Flight Simulator.
Oh, I think we're definitely
right. That still hasn't come out yet for the series, has it?
No, has not.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I bet you we get a date for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be given a date. Mark, what do you think?
Well, I think the most likely thing is going to be Scalebound Reborn.
No.
This episode's really been a platinum secret slided in. We've had a lot of platinum shout outs here.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll show Forza, whatever. I think it's Motorsport now.
Well, no, this is for Horizon. They're doing Horizon 5 before Motorsport now. It's
okay.
Remember, they have the whole thing about it being set in Mexico and all that.
Okay. And they'll show more Halo gameplay, and hopefully it looks good now.
It better look good. Oh my God, you better not be showing me Craig again with that terrible, graphics. No.
The one thing I would want to happen that I know never will is instead of 1 verse 100 coming back, I want it to be 1 verse 1000.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. I mean, Phil did mention I see that there are a lot of people that are talking about this. Kind of hinting that maybe there's been talks about it, and Game Pass would be perfect for it. So man, that'd be cool if we did get an announcement along that line. Anything else, Jake, that you're?
So on that, I think Compulsion Games shows off something. They haven't said much because they did We Happy Few. That was 5 years ago. And they stopped. When was the last DLC? 3-4 years ago? They added to it. I don't think we're going to get release date, all that. I think we get a tease, whatever they've been working on. They've been rumored to be doing some sort of, heck, they're rumored to be doing action adventure. Maybe that's Scalebound. Compulsion Games. Finishing it up. Because, those two games are so very closely linked. We Happy Few and Scalebound. The one that I think would be a get hype moment, and if it's going to be a game, it's going to be this. I've been hearing rumors that Psychonauts 2 could shadow drop. They could be in Psychonauts 2 is out on Game Pass today or tomorrow.
Oh man, that would be
I've been
insane.
hearing that. If they're going to do it with a game, it would be Psychonauts 2.
Well, it's not ready. That's one problem. And also, they'll piss everyone off who pre-ordered it.
That's true. Do the shadow launch sort of thing.
Definitely. I think we'll get a release date. We'll definitely get a release date for Psychonauts.
Yeah, we're definitely going to hear it, but...
I need to plan. I need to make Randy play Psychonauts 1 before we can play for Psychonauts 2.
Yes, you should do that because Psychonauts 1 is great.
Oh, yeah, especially if there's a story. Fantastic. One thing that I'm kind of hoping for, and I don't know if it'll be at the Xbox conference or the PlayStation conference or not at all, because it's supposed to come out across all of them, Steam, is Edge of Eternity, which is was a Kickstarter game. It's been on Steam early access for a couple of years, and it's about ready, I think, to come out and have a big presentation. So I'm hoping that we'll see some of that stuff. I would like to see that actually come out for real?
We'll see. And Microsoft has definitely gone a different, route with their like studios, what they're making, all that. I definitely think we're going to see more Avowed. So there's that, because I think people are really excited for that. For sure. I would like to see a little bit more of Scorn, because that kind of
looks so good.
That was one of the things that I thought looked good in that first bad conference that they had. So let's hope we get a little bit more.
How about this?
That.
New Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
Oh no, please don't. No.
It probably won't happen, but there's that slim chance. They did try to bring Conquer back for the AR for some reason.
Yeah.
So he's not dead. He's still there somewhere.
That or Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
That's more likely between the two.
If they do Banjo-Kazooie, no way it's Nuts and Bolts.
That's what I think is that. So what do you guys think is this? Is there anything to, in two separate things we've seen Sarabon and Phil Spencer show off the Switch, and then also Nintendo went through the whole point of redacting stuff in that Epic lawsuit. So, like, what do you think is going to be happening with that? You think maybe a Banjo-Kazooie, or is that just nothing and they're just playing around?
I don't see Game Pass coming to Switch. I think Nintendo would ask too much. Nintendo doesn't want to share the spotlight like that. They'd want too much of the pie. The biggest, like, craziest one I could see being feasible, maybe you could stream, just like using a streaming setup, do Halo, like as a separate purchasable single game, maybe the Master Chief Collection. Because they did test those waters with, they did Control and what was the other game? They had the two games you could stream.
Resident Evil 7.
There it is, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
That's right. They tested the waters with that, so maybe that was
Hitman
a test
3
bed.
well, yeah.
Hitman 3 was the other one. That's right. They might be testing the waters for maybe like $60. You buy Halo Master Chief Collection, stream it to your Switch. I just don't see. I think Nintendo would ask too much from Game Pass money wise to get it on there, because they're Nintendo. They would want a big piece of the pie.
I just don't see what that does for Nintendo for them to do. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not going to give Microsoft anything. I mean, Microsoft doesn't care if they get anything back, right?
Well, they could say like, oh, we're going to add Master Chief into Smash Brothers.
Easily, yeah.
That would be insane. Like, I think that's one of those, like, the world would stop. Right? If Master Chief is the one that gets announced for Smash, then get ready, because people are gonna be. That's equal to me to like the Sora finally becoming, which I don't think he's gonna be in that thing at all. But that'll be, to me, it's almost equal to Sora being announced. Everybody wants. That's one of the ones people have been wanting in Smash for a long time. That'd be nuts if that's the thing. I mean, I could see xCloud possibly coming, but man, there would have to be a lot of restrictions and a lot of things that I think Nintendo wouldn't allow. So I just don't see how that's going to work.
Sean, what would cause more outrage? Master Chief being announced for Smash, or Corrin from Fire Emblem Fates being announced for Smash?
Oh my god!
No more Fire Emblem.
No more Fire Emblem. No more Fire Emblem.
They've had enough. Oh man. See, my conspiracy theory is that, honestly, the one I think most likely, if they're going to go that way, is Doom Guy. They've already got the Bethesda crossover with Vault Boy being in it as a costume. Yeah. So I could see Doom Guy fitting in just fine. He's got all the crazy weapons. He's even got the grappling hook now with the meat hook from Returnal.
Yeah.
So if they're going to go with Microsoft again, I see him being more likely than Master Chief. That's conspiracy theory.
I don't know. I feel like Doom Guy would just be one of those, like, there's some people excited, but it wouldn't be. It would not.
Even though he's objectively better than Master Chief.
Oh, come on, man. Let's not go that route.
Yeah, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I want to live tomorrow.
I mean, do you think that they end with Halo, or they start with Halo and end with Starfield? I mean, I feel like that wanting to redeem yourself from the last time you saw Halo was that, like, here it is. Here's what it looks like now. To kick it off. I mean, It is the game you're waiting on the most for this year, right?
I see it being central to it. I see if they shadow drop something, I imagine that finishing it out, because that would be their one more thing. This is out like now or tomorrow or
no, I think they definitely tell you the multiplayer is gonna get a release date, and then the whole thing gets, because we still don't have like a release date for Halo. We just have a season, so there's that.
Maybe they'll show a trailer for that Halo TV show.
That'd be interesting to finally see that.
I think they just want to stay away from anything TV related since the Xbox One. I don't think they're going to touch anything that isn't an actual game with a 10-foot pole. I think they've just that's been soured forever for them. They're just like, we'll talk about that later, just not here. That well's been tainted, I think, by the Xbox One days. I think too. That's
just because they couldn't get the exclusive to the Friends reunion.
Damn HBO. I think the one you mentioned, Halo, didn't even think about this. I think it's pretty much a sure thing that we get a multiplayer beta during E3. I think they're going to say, and today you can go online and play the beta, and then maybe it's like you get additional, maybe another week if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you can try the multiplayer beta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there definitely is going to be like a tie in the Game Pass. That's a different way to get to.
Yeah. There's definitely going to be some sort of beta or test period for the multiplayer during E3.
But wait, guys, Mixer's down. How can I get cool Microsoft rewards?
You can do it through Game Pass now. So.
Yeah. Game Pass rewards and quests.
So, like, you know, with the thing we talked about the Switch, there's been rumors about Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass. Like, there's got to be some big Game Pass thing, right? There's got to be something that's going to be added to be like, yeah.
Would Ubisoft be the good big new thing? I mean,
if you add it like EA Play, right, where you're not having to pay the extra.
Yeah, if suddenly the entire Ubisoft catalog is at your fingertips, that'd be insane.
I just don't see it doing that without a price raise, though. I mean, I find it amazing that they got EA Play on there and kept it the same price. I'm sure EA asked an arm and a leg for that.
Well, but probably what it is that EA is getting all these games being played that weren't being played at all.
It's true.
Because, you know, there's that. So
yeah, I mean, we talked about Knockout City. That's getting far more attention than it would have before because of Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think no, not just that. I mean, I think getting the demo as well, but it's just like, I think it also being good helps. I think a lot of people were kind of like thinking, here's another one of those multiplayer things that'll bounce out in a second. I mean, this could be I don't know that it's going to be the next huge one, but it could be.
Oh, yeah. Nothing against the quality. It's just tying with Game Pass and EA Play and all that has given it far more eyes on it than people would have. Because people would have been like, whatever. But it's like, I'll be able to play it with Game Pass. That's a great way to get some extra eyes on it.
A lot of rumors at some point about like, do we finally get Persona 5 on there? Do we get any kind of deal with Atlas? They obviously have a great deal with Sega. You know, I mean, there's been other rumors, but I feel like that's also been one of the stronger ones of Atlas is finally going to put some stuff on there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say with Sony being how they are, the only way I ever see Persona, at least Persona 5 or earlier coming onto Xbox is if they buy Sega. I think that's the only way you will ever see Persona 5 on Xbox.
Yeah.
I could see them making, they've done it before. I could see them making a Shin Megami Tensei for the Xbox, but not Persona 5.
Oh, I don't think they would when they haven't even released the Nintendo one yet.
That's very true.
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe if they made a deal to release, like, I don't know, because they're all tied to Nintendo systems. So, like, I just don't think that's. It's funny. It's like Persona, except for 4 that finally got released on PC. Like, they're all tied to Sony.
That's exactly my point. They could make another Shin Megami Tensei franchise on the Xbox.
Yeah, they could do a spin-off. Just not what they have now.
Because they did it for the original Xbox. It's called Shin Megami Tensei 9. It didn't come out in America, but it came out in Japan.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, so I guess just go around. Any surprises you want to see, like a game that you go, oh man, this. I think definitely we're also going to see the Battlefield 6 reveal there. But like any game that you want to see, that's maybe an old Xbox game that we haven't seen in a while, and it shows up, and you're like, yes, this is what I want. Xbox bringing this back.
I have two.
Oh,
Yeah,
go for it.
Amped 3 on PC or Lost Odyssey on PC.
Oh,
yeah.
Lost Odyssey.
And the other one is Connect 3.
I mean, I definitely want to see Lost Odyssey, but man, would Sakaguchi do that? I don't know. He seems like
it ain't up to him. I mean,
it's true.
Well, but does he have to be involved in some kind of? Well, I guess they could give it to a studio, right, to remaster.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just a simple port, screw them.
They have a well. The problem is it is backwards compatible already, so I don't know if they do something. It'd be more than just a port
on PC.
Oh, PC.
I mean,
There you go.
And they
PC.
could. I mean, you can already buy it on the store as well, so it's not like it's locked to just having the disc.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, for me, the obvious one, since Scalebound's already been mentioned, is going to be Phantom Dust.
Oh yes,
Will they bring that back again after the failed?
Have they tried to bring it back already in a failed way?
So
did it actually come out?
They made. They were going to make a new version, like a whole new game. That's one that got canceled. But they made a very quick and dirty port, like kind of this an HD port up, and that's the one that actually got released.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Would they bring back Blinks? I don't know.
Hey man, they got to fight Ratchet somehow. Blinks is the obvious one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's our champion.
People have some weird nostalgia for Blinks. Like, stop it. Just stop.
What are the odds of another Fable spinoff?
But
I don't think so. When you haven't even made the Fable, reboot.
I would only be in favor of that if it's like Fable kart racing.
Oh God.
You say that, but that actually sounds like it could be fun.
That also sounds like something they might have done at one point.
Yeah, maybe that's what took down Lion's Head down earlier.
Yeah, well,
they saw the demo for that. It's like we can't.
Or it's just Peter Molyneux. You
spin-off
promised me kart racing, and there was no kart racing in Fable 3.
No, if they had Peter Molyneux on stage for the new Fable, that'd be a shock.
Yeah,
maybe just as a advisor role or something like that.
Yeah, I do think we're going to see some cool games get added to Game Pass. It won't be like all coming out that day. I think it'll be stretched out throughout the year, and they'll be able to make those announcements there. That's what's cool about Xbox. I think they're going to really try to blow the doors off between this one and whenever they do the Bethesda one, which is probably during the Summer Games Fest thing. And I just hope that it's good. I hope that everything we see is positive. And probably what they're going to be able to tell you is that everything that's coming here is coming to Game Pass, which is another positive as well, because it means, guess what? You don't have to do anything but pay for your subscription if you, that's it. So I'm excited for what we're going to see. What do you think we're going to see? There's definitely a lot there. I think that everybody's going to have their favorite thing that they might want to see from there. So, hit us all up on the Twitters and let us know. And, it'd be hope that, man, I don't know that we're going to see any like Final Fantasy type, 13 when they got to show that off. I don't know if we're going to see anything like that, but that'd be nuts. So, I mean, any last thoughts before we? Do
you think we're going to see Hades for Xbox?
Yeah, we can see that.
I think that seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't see why not.
It's one I've been seeing rumors around.
Although for some reason, all the rumors have been focused around Sony, not Xbox. That's the weird part. Yeah. It's all PS4 ports.
Yeah, because it's the biggest seller right now, so everybody wants to know what it's going to PS4.
I think we see Game Pass announced to like something hinting for TVs. I think Samsung, because last year they pushed that. I think that push with Samsung for the Note one from late last year was like a little bit of a tease. I bet you anything the fall Samsung TVs they have come out this year will be available to use Game Pass.
I would hope that they come out with like a little Fire Stick thing as well, that they say that they're developing that. That would be cool, because I really want to be able to just do the same thing with Stadia, is have the controller just connected to the TV and play my game and not have to haul around, like not have to have my tablet out or have just use it on the TV itself. That would be great. So, you know, like, and I definitely think we're going to see they're going to mention something about the Series X blades are now going to be activated at some point. So now it's going to be more in line with Stadia, the X Cloud. So it'll be a much better streaming thing as well. So
and Crackdown will finally have destructible environments.
Yeah,
After all these years, Crackdown 3.
It'll have the
Crackdown,
Crackdown
exactly.
4 trailer.
I think Crackdown's done. No way. I think, at least for a long time, I think they're going to be years before we hear anything about Crackdown again. They salted the earth on that one pretty roughly.
But okay. So, all right. I think that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, Jake, for being on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This has been great.
You wanna plug yourself one more time?
Oh yeah, just follow me, Obi-Wan Jacoby. The two big places, Twitch and Twitter. Just follow me on there. I stream Mondays and Fridays. I'm trying to expand that out more, but those are my 2 set dates that I just for sure I'm gonna hit it. And then Twitter, just see the weird thoughts that come out of my head every so often.
Yeah. That's very true too. I mean, Jens.
Yep, still
Resident
playing.
Evil Village is the next chapter select, right?
Yep, that's coming up. I'm hoping that we can do the whole game in one episode. I just need to finish it before Randy comes back from his vacation, I guess. Other than that, otherwise it'll be 2 episodes. But yeah, that's the next one. And I guess he wants to watch Tomb Raider next, so we continue watching bad movies and playing games. So
that's your thing so far. And Mark, I mean, you're knocking out Mass Effect.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, that'll be a long one. And as Jens said, a lot of on this week. And my dog is finally getting restless. She was sleeping the whole time, and she's finally like, "Look, that's enough. That's enough. You've done enough of this show already." People are tired of seeing y'all for 2 hours already. So, if you didn't play it already, remember that Knockout City is out there, and there's a demo or there's a little like free to play thing for a week, and then if you still have Game Pass, I think it's available on there. Biomutant's the big next big game coming out, along with Shin Megami Tensei 3, which I know these guys are super excited about.
Oh, I've been playing it.
You got the
Digital Deluxe
early
Edition
release,
has
right?
been out for a few days.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
snazzy.
Yep.
I'm
It's
still
good.
waiting to hear back on a code from Atlas, but gonna cross my fingers on probably not happening.
It's real
And
sharp.
so, yeah, and of course, there's what was it? That's also like y'all mentioned, the Saints Row the Third coming to next gen or the current gen consoles. Why I keep saying that? We're in current gen right now. So, and of course that World Ends Club as well coming at the end of the month. So, yeah, get ready, guys, because again, E3 is that 1 week closer. Next week we're going to be talking about like Square Enix is what they're going to do, and then kind of look at what the other like major third parties that have announced that they're going to be there are going to be there. Okay, so that's what's going on for next week. Thank you again so much to Jake for being on, and of course Jens also for joining us today, taking time out of your night here. And well, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you. Hit subscribe wherever it is that you listen, whether it's WTO Network feed. Go check out Jens on the Chapter Select. Go check out the Kickoff over on WTO Network where they talk the football. They had a new episode this week talking about what happened at the draft. And, of course, go check out all the stuff that Radish does on his end. Man, oh, my God, he released, I think, like 12 freaking shows last week. There's so much between the new Saw, the old Saws, the what was it? So many. There's other things that were happening this week that he released. So those guys are handling it over there on the entertainment side. But until next week, guys, we'll see you later.